the United States of America, a nation often seen as a symbol of freedom, democracy, and opportunity. But beneath the surface of its shining ideals lies a darker, bloodier past, a past built on slavery, genocide, war, oppression, and injustice. This is the dark history of the USA. And today, we will take you through the truth, the side of American history you were never taught in school. Before the United States existed, millions of Native Americans lived freely across the continent. They had their own civilizations, traditions, and systems of governance. Then came the colonizers, British, French, Spanish. They brought diseases, war, and death. By the time the American colonies were established, up to 90% of Native Americans had already died due to smallpox, measles, and massacres. Scene 1. Early colonization, 1600s. This wasn't just accidental. It was often deliberate. Blankets infected with smallpox were intentionally given to tribes. Lands were stolen. Cultures were destroyed. The so-called discovery of America came at the cost of a genocide. Scene 2. Slavery, 1619 to 1865. In 1619, the first African slaves were brought to the American colonies. Over the next 2 centuries, millions of African men, women, and children were captured, chained, sold, and forced to work on plantations. They were whipped, tortured, raped, and even lynched. Slavery became the foundation of American wealth, especially in the South. Tobacco, cotton, sugar, all powered by slave labor. Even the founding fathers, including George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, owned slaves. The so-called land of the free was built on the backs of the enslaved. Scene 3. The Trail of Tears, 1830s. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act. Thousands of Native Americans were forced to leave their ancestral lands and march west. More than 60,000 people were displaced, and over 15,000 died on the journey. They called it the Trail of Tears, a silent death march through hunger, disease, and cold, all to make room for white settlers and cotton plantations. Scene 4. Civil War and Racism, 1861 to 1865 and beyond. The Civil War ended slavery, but not racism. After the war, Black Americans were never truly free. Laws known as Jim Crow legalized segregation. Black people were banned from schools, restaurants, and even drinking fountains. Lynchings were common. Between 1882 and 1968, over 4,700 African Americans were lynched. The Ku Klux Klan, a white supremacist terrorist group, spread fear and violence across the South.